entities and all taxpayers that by virtue of the tax income or the Income Tax Act and the Revenue Administration Act, they are required to file a return of income with the Commissioner General not later than 4 months after the end of each year of assessment. So, for example, individuals, companies, entities, and all taxpayers whose accounting year ends on 31st December 2022 are to submit their annual return of income for the 2022 year of assessment and other outstanding returns not later than 30th April 2023. Taxpayers are also required to file their monthly VAT payee, CIT, and withholding tax returns and make payments of the taxes by their due dates. GRA strongly encourages taxpayers to file their returns online via the taxpayers portal, which can be accessed on taxpayersportal.com or download the Ghana Taxpayers app, which is on Google Play or App Store. We further remind taxpayers that failure to file returns attract sanctions such as the imposition of penalties and interest. Enforcement and prosecution activities. Kindly contact the nearest GRA office or call GRA on toll-free number 0800 900 110 or send a WhatsApp to 055 299 0000 or 020 063 1664. Send an email to info@gra.gov.gh for further inquiries. And this issued by the Commissioner General of the GRA. Kindly visit gra.gov.gh to learn more.
Amavi, so our conversation, we've been talking about devotion and discipline, self-discipline particularly, even as, our Muslim brothers and sisters went through the period of Ramadan. They were very disciplined to have gone through it. You've shared your own experience. Sometimes when you're fasting, you ask yourself, what? You forget you're fasting and you go and grab food.
Yeah.
This morning we're joined by Sheikh Arim Yao Shaibu, who is spokesperson to the National Chief Imam, and Hanifa Yaya, who's managing partner here and partners at law. Hanifa, Sheikh, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. Baraka da Salah.
Good morning, we say Mama V, everybody. Baraka da Salah, Baraka Kade. Thank you so much.
Sheikh, are you on?
Yeah, I'm on. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Great. I'll get back to you too shortly because I need to learn a thing or two from you, how you're able to do that for 30 days all the time. But first, are you sinking in your bed and is your mattress failing to give you the safety and comfort that you deserve? Then get yourself a Royal Foam mattress which guarantees you the good sleep and relaxation that you deserve today. As pace setters with attached pillows to the mattresses you buy for free, get this offer in all our showrooms and sales outlets across the country. Don't be left out. Royal Foam wishes to say a big thank you to you, the loyal customers, for making them win the Silver Award at the 12 Ghana Business and Financial Services Excellence Awards. Please call them on 020-227-1000 for enquiries. Royal Foam, rest assured.
And Absa says, we know that life is go, 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 and that it is hard to make time for the things that really count. So we won't let banking get in your way. That's why with Absa's digital channels, you can bank when, where, and how you want, so you can focus on what or who is important to you. Banking has never been easier. Transfer funds into your savings account, pay your old school union dues, and your DSTV subscription, and many more with a click on your phone. Get things done simply with Absa's digital channels. That's Africanacity, and that's Absa. Terms and conditions apply. Visit absa.com.gh for further details.
Great. So let's start with the conversation briefly before we go for some messages. So Sheikh, I was asking earlier, how are you able to do this? How many years have you been fasting, and how are you able to do it every year for 30 days, 29 to 30 days?
Thank you very much. Let me also use the occasion to congratulate Muslims in Ghana and across the world for having gone through this 1 month spiritual exercise. Yeah, true. As a typical Zongo growing up as a typical Zongo child, as early as between age 6 and 7, we had begun fasting.
What?
Sometimes our parents will restrain us, tell us not to fast, but as they wake up at dawn to take the early dawn meal, instinctively we also wake up and then we take. Then we begin the fast, and sometimes we are unable to do completely. By midday, we are becoming so weak in the body, and then we are now given the chance to break the fast. Those who are able to now continue are able to continue the fasting until the sunset, where we break the fast. So I have been making those reference that many people like me from the Zongo, who are now within their 60s, 70s, it had begun fasting for a long time until we became conscious of fasting as a duty given to us by God, and so it's been the annual fasting has been a tradition, if you like, call it an annual ritual, a seasonal devotion for every committed Muslim to undertake. It has become also a social something. So even if you are a Muslim in the Zongo community or the Muslim community and you are not committed, just the fact that it has taken a social dimension, you feel encouraged, and then you are able to fast. That is why those who emphasize the social side of it alone will participate in the fasting, but that the spiritual benefit, sometimes they forfeit it because where they are coming from, they get encouragement only from the society. So it has become like a tradition, a culture that annually they have to do it. But going beyond what I call the form and getting to the substance or the essence, that's why we have been having our challenges. So it's been a whole life of fasting every year.
Great. I'll get back to you. But let me ask you, Hanifa, so how do you also do it? 29, 30 days.
Yes, as Sheikh has said, we've had a lifelong time of practice. By 9 years, as I can remember, you will fast till midday. So you fast in the morning and break at midday. And as you grew older and older, you extended the time full time. So it is habit, and because it is a spiritual exercise, Allah helps us, to be able to do it. For instance, today I'm not fasting. I feel very hungry. I feel very thirsty. But on days that you fast, you feel it, but it's the option is not available to you, and the grace of Allah. So we are able to carry through the fast.
Okay. Now, you've talked about something which we'll explore later. Sometimes you feel hungry, but you still, with the grace of Allah, are able to go through. But, you talked about how you started when you were 9 and then you break the fast at, 12. And you, also because you're a woman, there are times then the women, so your mother would have to cook for you and she is fasting herself.
Yes, so everybody cooks, as you say, everybody fasts. So as you said, for a woman who has attained puberty up until the start of menopause, you will have to break along the way when you have your menstrual period. So some have 3 days, some have 5, some have 1 week. During those times, you are not allowed to fast. So you break your fast. But as soon as you finish with it, you continue the fasting. I remember as a child, it was quite interesting when the older women in the house are cooking, and somebody has to taste the food
That's
to
what I was
ensure
getting to.
that the salt is adequate. Now, there is a rule that if there's nobody around, you can taste the food and spit it out. There is not to let anything pass through.
We lost
We lost Hanifa. Okay, how about we go for a short break and then come back and continue the conversation. Stay with us. We're joined this morning by Hanifa Yahya, who is managing partner, Hay and Partners at Law, and Sheikh Karim Yashaibu, spokesperson to the National Chief Imam. We'll be right back.
Put that smile on the faces of your family and friends this month of Ramadan by shopping at Melcom on goods at affordable prices ranging from groceries, electronics, homeware, kitchenware, furniture, home decor, and many more. Terms and conditions apply. Melcom, where Ghana shops.
Blood is life. Everybody needs blood to survive. In sickle cell disease, the red blood cells become fragile and break down easily. This leads to low blood levels known as anemia. Do you know that blood transfusion can save lives? But sometimes the blood banks do not have the needed blood and money becomes of little relevance. That is why the International Sickle Cell Center and Airtel Tigo are pushing the Touching Lives initiative to raise awareness. My name is Dr. Mary Ansel. Donate some blood today to save lives. To learn more, visit www.iscc.international.
This initiative is brought to you by the International Sickle Cell Center, ISCC, in partnership with Airtel Tigo Touching Lives.
Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
Someone smells great here. And fresh, my love. I wish I could stay in the shower all day. I know, right? Nothing beats a bath with geisha soap. It smells so good, it lasts long, and it's enriched with natural ingredients that work wonders for my skin. And it now comes with a fresh new look, giving us even more reasons to love our geisha bar.
New and improved geisha soap. Great new look, better fragrance, same natural ingredients, still all last time. This advert is FDA approved.
Be strong and last long. Like geisha.
Adjoa, Grandma looked very peaceful. I was completely amazed when I saw her neatly presented. She looked just like she was sleeping.
You haven't seen anything yet, my brother. You should have seen the care and quality treatment they gave her at Transitions. One man, one room, just like a 5-star hotel.
Wow.
And not only that, we had a dedicated person to guide the family through the funeral planning process.
Are you sure?
Of course. From picking her up to when we lowered Grandma down, everything was completely stress-free. They had all the needed funeral services, caskets, hearse, chapel, and so much more.
This one, dear, no family fights after all.
I'm so happy we made the right decision to use Transitions.
With Transitions, your loved one gets the best of care while the family enjoys a stress-free funeral planning process. Call us now on 0302 634 706. And no, did I tell you they're affordable? Transitions, the funeral people.
Are you tired of feeling left behind when it comes to your finances? Have no worries. CitiSpay is here. We provide credit solutions for both business owners and salary workers. We offer loans within 24 hours at the lowest rate. Visit our website www.citispay.com.gh and choose what is right for you. Call us on 0595 738121. CitiSpay. We leave no one behind.
Imagine running a business with 24/7 dedicated internet as well as calls to both local and international corporate clients at very affordable prices. Whatever your objectives, Airtel Tigo Business can help you through services like FlexiNet mobile broadband among others. Call us at 0577 555 000 or email us at business@airteltigo.com.gh. Airtel Tigo Business, your total business solutions provider.
Imagine say water wake up at dawn, e no bath, e no chop, where e vanish for your area for 2 weeks. You no get one drop safe inside your tank.
Hey. Hajia, our life was in dangerous.
Only our neighbor get water with water tank.
Water tank?
Yes, water tank. Mamma mia, that water tank get meter for checking water level. That water tank be fine past Kumasi Selendion. That water tank be tough like Ghana Army. That water tank they carry water pepe, so say some no go left inside the supply tank. What a tank! As my boss, Mr. Poncho, go talk.
Beautiful, durable, with water level indicator and accurate volume of water. Water tank. What a tank! By Duraplast.
Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
right, so welcome back and thank you very much for staying with us here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. And this morning, we're joined by Sheikh Arimi Al-Shaibu, spokesperson to the National Chief Imam, and Hanifa Yaya, who's managing partner here and partners at law. We're talking about the Ramadan. Well, we're done now, but of course, the period was a period of discipline, a period of devotion and spiritual emphasis and exercise. But the question really is, why is it so difficult to transfer all these things when it comes to the nation Ghana? We'll get into all of that shortly, but let me just continue with you. Hanifa, you're making a point when we lost you. You said when you're cooking, what must you do? Hello, Hanifa?
Fasting.
Yes, I can hear you now. If you can start all over.
When you are cooking during the fast, and all the adults around are fasting as well, of course, when you are fasting, you don't eat. But when you are cooking too, you need to taste the food to ensure that there's adequate salt, adequate pepper, and all of that. Now, in the absence of any adults to taste or any children who can, reasonably determine whether the salt is adequate, the adult is allowed to taste the food, but not to swallow it. So you taste for salt or whatever, and then you spit it out and rinse your mouth. Because the idea is that you're not supposed to let any food or liquid or anything pass your throat whilst you are fasting.
And you're able to do this.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, no, go ahead. I'm listening.
Yes, so you get to taste, but you don't get to swallow. And it's a very exciting month, in the Muslim calendar. Families congregate to break the fast together, and children get excited in the midst of it all, and even non-Muslims who live within the community also get into the fray. Cooking communally, serving communally, everybody eating together at dawn, and then in the evenings when the fast gets broken.
Great. So, Sheikh, take us through the significance, briefly, of the month of Ramadan.
Yeah, thank you very much. Can you hear me well? The line is a bit faint for me.
Oh, I can hear you very well.
Okay. Going straight to the Quran, which is our reference point when it comes to these religious matters, it's made very clear to us the significance of the month of Ramadan. The Holy Quran says that the month of Ramadan is the month in which the Quran was revealed. So then one significance which comes there clearly here is to say that was the month in which the mysteries of divine revelation was made to become part of human experience. So the Prophet was receiving this revelation from what we call the well-guarded tablet at the divine realm. It was made available to the human experience through the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So when we fast in the month of Ramadan, if you like, we say that Ramadan is the month in which we celebrate the history of our revelation, which for us is very, very key for the guidance it gives us, because then the Quran says that was revealed for the guidance of mankind.
Okay.
Now, for the guidance of mankind, indicating that there is no discrimination when it comes to what the human being needs to be able to guide himself to live a life of fulfillment in this world, and then to also go to the other side of life. So that is the first significance. The second significance is that it is a month in which we are also supposed to fast so that we can attain what we call God consciousness. God consciousness, you can give it different interpretations. Some call it God consciousness, some call it piety, some call it righteousness, and some call it the fear of God. But in all these things, in the month of Ramadan, our sense of the presence of God in our life is enhanced. Okay. And that is what set the check and the balance in our lives to be able to really lead a life, if you like, of moral refinement and spiritual reinvigoration of our lives. And that is it. So there's a certain moral enhancement in the month of Ramadan when we are able to do so. Now, the month is also supposed to engender certain virtues. Those virtues are very, very germane to social cohesion and social bonding and social support. One of them is that Ramadan is a month of generosity. So we've been told that by the Prophet that the Prophet's wife Aisha, that the Prophet is a very generous person, but he became even more generous during the month of Ramadan. So going to this, if the Prophet is an exemplar of virtues, then we draw inspiration. We draw inspiration from his act of generosity, and that is why you notice that there's a certain kind of ritual at the end of Ramadan which we do, and that is what we call the Zakat al-Fitr. That is the charity of the breaking of the fast. That is, there's a certain quantity of food that has been prescribed that every single Muslim, including the newly born child, will have to be given out to the poor and the deprived of society. The wisdom is that why even a newly born child will give is that we broaden the scope of collection so we can widen the scope of distribution.
Okay.
So that you must reach as far to the extent that, as the Prophet said, no single beggar on that day will be seen on the street stretching his arms to beg, because begging is very demeaning. And on a joyful day of celebration, let's not see a single Muslim who is begging on the street. Yeah, so these and then the personal discipline. And these are virtues that are so germane to the development of every community, every nation. Okay. Because we are human beings and we live by virtues. They are the foundation of the actions that we do in order to make a contribution to preserve our nations, our communities, and to make a contribution so that progress and development, peace and harmony will also be enhanced. Devoid of all these I have mentioned, it makes the Ramadan season for us, in my view, an empty exercise. But once we can go beyond just the form of fasting, which is restraining ourselves from eating and drinking, by going to the essence where our fear of God is enhanced and our relationship is so enhanced, we are peaceful, we are loving, we are able to touch every needy person, put smiles on the face of people, we are honest, we are incorruptible, we are all those things. These are the things that we need, that fasting should be urged us to do in order to become contributors to. But if the more we fast, the more corrupt we are, the more we fast, the more dishonest we are, the more we fast, the more greedy we are, the more we fast, the more covetous we are, then in my view, there's a huge contradiction that needs to be addressed.
Great. Now, that view that you expressed is actually the focus of our conversation, because yes, Muslims have a month where they fast, but even today in Christianity, you have people coming together. For instance, a church could declare 30 days, 40 days of fasting here and there. You've talked about everything. You've talked about how it's supposed to promote virtues. Today we're talking about Islam, promote virtues. But Sheikh, you would agree also, as you stated and as you ended, that all of these things you talk about, when it's time for fasting, people do away with all the ills. But immediately after fasting, for even that person who fasted, he or she goes back to the same thing. Why is that the situation most of the time?
I think, like I mentioned earlier on, for most Muslims, and I say so cautiously and with respect to all my other co-religionists, not to denigrate anybody, but I am a very typical Zongo breed, born and bred in the Muslim community. So I have lived through the stages when I was a Muslim, but not a conscious Muslim. That is, I was just a Muslim by my family tradition, if you like, by my social environment, what I see my parents were doing. So that was one of the stages. But one needs to grow out of that stage to become conscious. So you become Muslim by consciousness. Now, if there's a gap here, then most Muslims will do the fasting as culture, as tradition, so that we don't move to the very essence. Because fasting is a means. Like the Quran will tell us that all you who believe, fasting has been prescribed to you as it was prescribed to nations that came before you, so that you will develop piety or God consciousness. So if you go by the explanation of this text, it's clearly by the logic that fasting is not an end in itself. It is a means to an end. And so therefore we must focus very much on the end, the objective of the fasting. If we miss the objective, what it means is that we've lost it all. And I think that we have not been very conscious along that line. And there are many people who have lived in the community, they are not conscious of this. So there's no that personal effort, because fasting is about the refinement of the human person, so that you shed off the garb of crudeness and you now put on the new garb of refinement. And that refinement must lead you throughout life, so that incrementally, with every fasting season, you see an incremental refinement in your life, so that in the process you are gaining perfection. So for me, as somebody who is in the forefront of preaching and all those things, I see that there is this gap which we must continue to preach and to guide and to raise consciousness, to sensitize. But I don't think we have reached that target yet. And that's why somebody will tell you, because I'm fasting, I'm no more in relationship with my girlfriend. Meanwhile, he knows that ordinarily the moral life of the Muslim does not go with that kind of life.
Okay.
But because it's in Ramadan, he said, I have stopped. Immediately the day he finishes Ramadan, he goes back to that. What it means that he did not make any gain in the month by way of the spiritual strengthening inside and the moral refinement. He did not gain it. Somebody says that I'm fasting now. I'm at loggerhead with somebody. Now because of fasting, I will not fight. Immediately after the fasting, he's going back to fight. It means that he lost it all. The patience and self-restraint that is supposed to develop over the period, he has lost it, and all those things. So, I think it's a matter for us to continue. It's a matter for us to continue talking, hoping that, in my view, we need to really target the young people of today very, very well at our school level, at the Makaranta level, at the family level, at the mosque level. At the mosque level, we need to really reorganize the mosque, because every day, 5 times we pray. What kind of preaching does any session of the prayer or provide opportunity for some guidance? Now people come to pray in the mosque. They are running away from the mosque like they are being chased. They have no time to spare. Some 5 minutes at the end of the prayer for some counseling. So we need to do something about it, and then the Makaranta system should also be improved, so that we catch them young. From the day one, we catch them young, so that they are able to grow as very conscious Muslims. That is, in my view, what we need. So there is a certain deficiency in the way that we are bringing up our own people.
Sheikh, this is Mama V. This is a rather worrying trend. I think we've spoken before about how crime in certain areas, for instance, go down during the period of fasting and then just picks up right after fasting. How do we make everyday Ramadan? Not make people fast every day. But can we actually change this trend with the strategies that you proposed, for instance, catch them young? Because if you bring it to the national, if you include all of us, this is not just a Muslim situation. It's actually a national, because we go to church. Right after the church, sometimes in the compound of the church, you see through how people drive that they are back to normal. Everything that was preached just ended in the chapel. How do we begin to change this?
I mean, very, very, very important question. And I like the expression you used, a life of everyday fasting. A life of everyday fasting means that it is not necessarily by restraining ourselves from eating and drinking, but a certain mental, continuous and consistent mental fasting. That means that we maintain our constancy and consistency with, our relationship with God. it is really something that requires a certain strategy, reviewing of our approach to preaching, how we are bringing up our children, the new mode of parenting, our Makaranta system, and how we really reorient the teachers who are teaching there, getting our imams to begin to look at a certain new arrangement in the mosque, such that the mosque is not necessarily for rituals, but it's also a center of a certain moral reorientation, where moral counseling takes place, and the imam must be somebody who is trained himself to understand issues of counseling, and because sometimes these things are not limited to just the copious quoting of the Quran and the tradition of the Prophet, but it requires a methodology, a certain kind of approach where we see a crisis and we want to overcome the crisis. So you need to really sit back again and re-strategize. And I think that these centers of Islamic, if you like, way of life needs to be reviewed and see what are the new things we need to put in to ensure, particularly at the family level, what kind of new parenting should we give that before the child leaves the family level, even the orientation of the family level itself is enough. Then the Muslim child typically, once he leaves the family, the next place he's going is the Makaranta. That's the new field of orientation. At the Makaranta level, how is he being oriented? That's also very important. And then at our normal school levels, we also do same.
Right.
These are things that I think, because I get worried, and I have been very blunt. And sometimes on my pulpit, I'm so blunt. I know Muslims are part and parcel of this landguardism. You know that there are Muslims who, because they are strong, they are rented to use brute force to dispossess people who have legitimately acquired their land. And these Muslims, young people, are rented because of their strength to go and dispossess. They kill. I mean, it's something that I don't mince my words on it. So if a young Muslim will grow this way, he's fasting every year, but with every fasting season, he become brutist. And then when we finish the fasting, he can go and do land guard, and he has no clemency, no mercy. He can kill people. For me, it's a big contradiction, and there's no way we can have to mince words in this, all armed robbery, and so on and so forth. Killing of people who that becomes, immorality, sexual immorality, and all those things are things that are very worrying, because for me, it is really undoing the very virtues that we are able to make on Ramadan. And the Quran has a nice way of expressing it. It says, do not undo the thread that you have spun, so that it becomes now useless to you. In other words, when you are spinning a thread out of what do you call it, a cotton, you know how you spin it, and you spin it, in other words, it becomes a thread where you are able to use it in weaving. He said, after you have spun it, now it is now ready for you to use in weaving. Now you undo what you have spun.
Right.
That's how the Quran used the expression it uses. So I agree with you, and I think that mental consistent fasting is what we need to really do something about, and give that mindset to the largest tract of the Muslim community. And for morality, you cannot have a perfect world because of our human nature. But it's something that we should do much to use religion as a vehicle to reduce to the barest minimum crime and evil and other social vices that is affecting our progress as a community and as a nation. For example, I cannot accept that we are fasting every year, and the more we fast, the more corrupt we are. Go to every public institution, the corruption is so high. I cannot accept it. So I want to see a Muslim who, out of fasting, has become so honest, so compassionate, so hardworking, so disciplined. These are the things that we want to see. So maybe, probably together with you, we'll have to continue this job.
Yeah, Sheikh, definitely. And let's bring Hanifa into this conversation. What do you make of the suggestions? Sheikh just mentioned a few of the strategies that we can adopt. What do you think? from your point of view, especially also because of the law background that you have. Oh, it looks like we lost Hanifa. Do we have her? Oh, apologies. I think we lost her again. We'll try and raise her back on the line. In the meantime, don't you just hate it when your favorite light soup or tomato stew tastes off because you use chicken that is just not fresh? Well, we at La Bianca Company Limited have good news for you. La Bianca introduces you to its latest products made right here in Ghana. Is Akoko Tasty. With Akoko Tasty, every chicken meal will be a delight. We offer well-bred and slaughtered fresh chicken to suit all your needs. In need of wings and quarters for your barbecue today, holiday, gizzards and breasts for your stir fries or sauces? Well, try Akoko Tasty. We offer all chicken parts for all your culinary needs. To order, contact La Bianca on 050-543-1111 or 050-066-0144 or visit our facility at the Tema Fish and Harbour. La Bianca, your number one frozen foods company.
So every time we eat, food and sugars are trapped between our teeth, leading to tooth decay, gum disease, and in some cases, foul breath. Well, brushing your teeth every morning and night with Pepsodent Cavity Fighter gives your teeth the protection they need, leaving you with 10 times stronger teeth. Pepsodent Cavity Fighter is fortified with pro-fluoride and microcalcium ingredients, sealing tiny and invisible holes in your teeth. Now, this prevents cavities, keeps your teeth strong and mouth healthy. Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, maximum cavity protection, 10 times stronger teeth, and Pepsodent is recommended by the Ghana Dental Association. There are two other highly effective variants of Pepsodent on the market: Pepsodent Charcoal, made with a fine blend of activated charcoal and lemon essence, and Pepsodent Charcoal White gently polishes away tooth stains and naturally restores your bright smile. Pepsodent Herbal, for our herbal lovers, try Pepsodent Herbal toothpaste, formulated from carefully selected natural extracts and uniquely blended herbs. Pepsodent Herbal releases, repairs, and protects gum tissues while giving you strong teeth. You can get Pepsodent at any shop near you. Call our customer care center on toll-free 0800 2030. Always remember to brush your teeth in the morning and before you sleep at night. Pepsodent, every smile matters.
And I think we have Hanifa back on the line. Please, if you can hear me. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, Mama.
Okay,
Sorry,
good to have you.
know.
That's fine, but I hope that you listen in on what Sheikh said just before your line dropped.
Yes, I heard everything.
So, following his comments on the corruption bits, a good friend of mine, Victor, sent a message and he says, I know of a friend who takes bribes every day to facilitate client documents go through fast and get signed. And during this Ramadan, he told all his clients to hold on to the envelopes so that after the Ramadan, he'll come for all of it. How do we end this? How do we make every day Ramadan?
Maybe the human frailties are difficult to cure. But I am optimistic that once Ramadan is able to at least bring the consciousness on for people to say, hold on, I'm in the holy month. I am seeking forgiveness of my God of all my previous years' sins. Don't come and tempt me. Hold on. When I finish praying and fasting and asking for forgiveness and I'm forgiven, I'll come back and continue. It's unfortunate. We're supposed to come out of the Ramadan renewed and different. And I'm hoping that there are examples out there of some people who actually come out renewed and then they abstain from at least one aspect of their lives which is negative and which has been impacted by the Ramadan permanently. I'm also concerned that enforcement of laws and policies and regulations will help, and the lack of which also, allows the impunity in corruption and other criminal and negative activities, immoral activities, to persist. In every society, we grapple with crime, with immorality, there are laws that we have that should be used to serve the human being. We need to be saved from ourselves sometimes. And that is why we have leadership. That is why we have law enforcement. That is why we have the courts. That is how prisons are built, so that people will be saved from themselves. If you allow man the free will to just go out and do whatever they want, they will harm themselves. So I'm hoping that the enforcement of the laws generally. Sheikh mentioned the land guard issue. I mean, we all know it happens. We all know our law enforcement agencies know some of the people who do some of these things. We all know people who cause the land guard services to be requested. Somebody's land is there, it is not yours, you go and jump onto it and then you start building. Desperate situations sometimes call for desperate measures. And so if you don't touch anybody's land, you don't try to steal somebody's land, lifeguards will not be needed in the first place. Both ways, either to do the stealing or to do the prevention. If our law enforcement is able to be up to the task, call people and tell them and ask them what their issues are with law enforcement, they will tell you their frustration. Somebody has come on, only yesterday I got a call, somebody has come to my land, there's a house on it, there's land in front, they quickly came, built a wall, closed the gate of the owner of the house with a new wall, put a gate on it, and they've taken the land in front. Brazen, broad daylight, land thievery, and when they go to the police, they get the sense that the police is not helping, and they're frustrated. So what do we do in such situations? You also go and get a land guard. Is it illegal? Yes, it's illegal. Are you desperate enough to, want to take this situation? You would. And there's also the worrying trend about drug addiction among our youth. I mean, imagine that in the month of Ramadan, all the youth, Muslim youth who dabble in drug addiction and all that are able to stop for 1 month. Imagine the improvement they will get in their health. 1 month of no drugs, no alcohol, no anything harmful to your body. Fantastic opportunity Allah has given us to cleanse our act. So imagine that out of the lot, even if we get 10, 20 people who are able to come out of Ramadan and they have been able to cleanse their addiction permanently, that is fantastic. But in the absence of that, is drug addiction lawful? It is not lawful. Do our our law enforcement agencies know where our youth hang around and take drugs day and night? Yes, they do. What are we doing about it? Our social services, are we able to offer, services to youth who are addicted to drugs? Where is our social welfare system? What are we doing to help ourselves? These are the multiple problems that we face, and it's not only Ghana. I admit that even in the advanced world, they grapple with some of these things. But if we are able to, take charge of the enforcement, I keep saying that because of what I do and what I see every day. People will respond if you crack the legal whip, if you ensure that somebody doesn't get away with their crimes. The Ramadan spirit will permanently remain.
Right.
Because if you resume and you are, acting in a criminal way and the law cracks its whip and you are arrested and due process is taken and you are punished appropriately, I'm sure that, we will feel the essence and the benefits permanently of the holy month.
Well, Hanifa would like to say thank you so much for your time. This is definitely a conversation to continue in other ways, but for now, we're very grateful. Thank you also to you, Sheikh Aremayao Shaibu. Thanks a lot. We're going to carry the charge and then make it a national conversation. Let's try every day and see if we can make every day Ramadan, even though people will not be fasting. Yeah.
Well, and talking about making everyday Ramadan, when we return after these messages, we'll be joined by Sheikh Dr. Mustafa Hamid. I'm sure we all know him. He's the CEO of the National Petroleum Authority. After these messages.
Hey, bro, Kofi, your ceiling be smooth, bright and fine, papa.
That's an understatement. It dey blink like 80 carats white gold. This be Interface plasterboard ceilings. Smooth, bright, and long-lasting. Everybody wey dey come here, they feel am. Where they direct them go Interface Limited for world-class quality.
If you're involved in new property development, renovation, or decoration, the right place for you is Interface Limited. Call us on 0274-999999 or visit our website at
www.interfacelimited.net. Facebook, Interface Limited GH. Instagram, interface.limited.
She's so close to the boss, they whisper. The PA is so lucky, they think. It's only 9 a.m. and you've already gone through 3 meetings, 12 phone calls, and a low-calorie breakfast. You only survive each week thanks to speed lunches and power naps. It makes you wonder, how many steps have I taken up the corporate ladder? But you've got this. Wake up your fame with Lucozade. Because with Lucozade, you always make it through. Lucozade, restore your energy. This advert is FDA approved.
Introducing the new Techno Spark 10 series. Enjoy a long-lasting 5000 mAh battery capacity plus 18 watts charging pack in an ultra-sleek 6.7-inch Full HD screen with a storage galore of 256GB plus 8GB. You can save every memory and never lose any. 32 megapixels glowing selfie camera and 50 megapixels AI rear camera. Get your Techno Spark 10 series. Visit the nearest Techno accredited shop and join the glowing selfie gang.
Anytime is a good time to have a break. Introducing Munchie Anytime Crackers. It's perfect for break times, party times, movie times, and snack times. Savor the moment. Enjoy Munchie Anytime Crackers anytime. Munchie Anytime Crackers. It's light and tasty.
This advert is FDA approved.
What? It seems Royal Foam did not get the memo. Times are tough. Prices are going up. They're giving 10% discount, free pillows with every purchase. Hey, Royal Foam. Just when you thought all they manufacture are quality but affordable mattresses and pillows, they take it up a notch by being thoughtful in these hard times. Royal Foam has reduced their prices drastically. Buy a mattress, get a free pillow. Enjoy 10% discount instantly nationwide. Take advantage. Enjoy Royal Foam. Enjoy the best.
Call Royal Foam today on 020-227-1000 for more information.
Royal Foam. Rest assured.
We shouldn't have gone to that party.
Massa, my head is killing me. Is that your stomach?
Yes.
What did you eat?
I don't know. Get rid of your gastric problems with number 10 liver salt. Number 10 gives you quick, effective relief from nausea, indigestion, heartburns, hangovers, and hyperacidity. And with different fruity flavors such as orange and lemon, it's a pretty tasty way to end an uncomfortable situation. Number 10 liver salt from Ernest Chemist, because everyone needs a chemist.
This advert has been vetted and approved by FDA.
Coffee in your cup. Enjoy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet. On Joy 99.7 FM.
Let's go.
You are most beautiful.
Alright, so just before the break, I told you that we'll be joined by Sheikh Dr. Mustafa Abdul Hamid, who's the CEO of the National Petroleum Authority. He's here with us. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
I hope you're doing very well.
God willing, I'm fine.
A long time.
Very, very.
Anyway, we'll get into a conversation about, and like Mamavi puts it, making everyday Ramadan. Because for some reasons, when it's time for Ramadan, even the very worst of persons will tell you, hold on a minute. I am going to do this period, and then after that, we'll get back to the things of the past. How do we ensure that we never get back to the things of the past in our lives? But first, Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited, your number one supplier of quality office essentials, equipment, and furniture at affordable prices, introduce an online store for your shopping convenience. This means you can now shop by simply logging on to kingdomstoreonline.com without physically coming to any of our branches. It is hassle-free. We'll arrange delivery to your home and office within a reasonable time, offering free delivery within Accra and Tema. And we accept payment via Momo across all networks. Terms and conditions apply. At Kingdom, quality and affordability are their hallmarks.
And Don Marcos Travel and Tours, your reliable travel consultant, is organizing an exciting summer tour to Seychelles Island, your preferred tourist destination with unique islands and colorful beaches. It's from the 29th of June to 8th July 2023 with only 1,000. That's the equivalent of $1,900 for singles and $3,500 for double. Tour package includes visa, traveler ticket, ground transport, air transfers or airport transfers, accommodation in a 3-star hotel for 9 days, breakfast, lunch and dinner, sightseeing, entry visas, cruise ship ride and navigation. There's live entertainment on board. Pick up your valid passport, add your COVID-19 and yellow fever vaccination cards, and that's it. Please get in touch with Don Marcos Travel and Tours on 0249 045 442 or 020-293-0863. You can also send an email to donmarcostravels@gmail.com. Don Marcos is on the Spintex Road opposite Bachonak Total filling station, Tempus Estate Road. Remember, terms and conditions apply to this. Don Marcos Travels, your reliable travel consultants.
Great. So, Doc, whenever it's time for Ramadan and I see, one of my, I have a friend, for instance, I'll use his situation. I have a friend who has been, these days says he's an American Muslim. You know that term, American Muslim. When it's time for Ramadan, he wouldn't answer anybody's call. He says, you are the Satans in my life. When he finishes, he says, you know what, I'm praying. And the angels are sending my prayer to God. So wait for 2 or 3 days. Then he comes back and says, oh, now that they've sent the prayer to God, I can get back to the things of old. I say this because during that period, he had the discipline to go through. He went for a wedding. He didn't eat. He didn't drink, not even water. But right after the period of fasting, he gets back to all the things again. This morning, we're exploring this conversation. Why can't we, as a people, behave the way we behave during the holy month? Why is it so difficult?
It's so difficult because that's a difficult question you have asked me. So, first of all, yes, you are right that the purpose of the Ramadan is to instill in you the discipline, the God consciousness. And like I've been telling the Muslims, we don't have a God of Ramadan and a God of Shawwal and a God of Rajab or a God of Shaban. And these are the other names of the other 12 months that I'm mentioning. God is a God of all months and a God of all seasons. So quite frankly, if God says that establish the fast, or as it says, Quran 183 says, fasting is prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, that you may learn God consciousness. That God consciousness is supposed to then live with you for the rest of the months, for the rest of the year. But I want to acknowledge that we are also human. And part of the human condition is frailty, is susceptibility to, if you want, falling. Okay. In Islam, there are 3 categories of humans, or some people call it the 3 categories of souls. 1, the soul that is prone to evil. Then number 2, they call something the self-accusing soul. And then number 3, they call something the soul at peace. Okay, so the soul that is prone to evil is that person who is always choosing wrong over right. You know, there are people who have a penchant for wrongdoing, a penchant for evil. You know, the typical and obvious example I can give you is the example of, say, a serial killer. Okay, that's a soul prone to evil. And so Islam says that these acts of devotion that we perform are supposed to cleanse us and take us on a journey. Okay, so that's why the Muslims pray every day. You know, I don't know whether you know the Muslim version of the Lord's Prayer.
No.
You say, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Muslim says, praise be to Allah, Lord of the worlds, the beneficent, the merciful, master of the day of judgment. You alone we worship. You alone we ask for help. Guide us onto the straight path, the path of those on whom you have bestowed your favor, not of those who go astray, nor of those who earn your anger. Amen.
Interesting.
That's a powerful one, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Kwame Sefakai, my friend, has been telling me the one that I like inside is Master of the Day of Judgment. You know, and you know, I wanted to quote the part that says, guide us onto the straight path. So all of us are on a path towards God. That's what we are. That's what we do. You know, I tell people that they say that we were created in the image of God. But we have to strive to be a likeness of God. So we move from image to likeness. You see? So in that movement, the only way you can move on that journey is to engage in acts of devotion. Prayer, fasting, meditation, chanting God's names, all of those things, recitation of the Quran. These are the acts that keep you moving on the journey, so you are not stagnant. So you move from being a soul prone to evil to become a self-accusing soul. And that's where I want to stop to answer to your friend's example.
Sure.
You know, the majority of humans we are all self-accusing souls. And a self-accusing soul is a soul that will do evil or do wrong, but would become conscious of that wrong and repent. You see, you accuse yourself. That's why we call it the self-accusing soul. You know that this thing that I did, it's not good. Then you repent. The Muslims call something istighfar. Istighfar means seeking forgiveness of God. And that's why Muslims encourage each other that every day, morning and evening, you should seek forgiveness of God. And so you accuse yourself, and then you repent. But then you find yourself again gossiping about this your work colleague who just left to go and buy wachi. And then you say, why was I backbiting? Why was I talking about this? Then you regret. That's how we are, the majority of us. But we don't have to stop. The fasting is supposed to keep us going again till we become nafs mutma'inna. That's the Arabic terminology for the soul at peace.
Right.
You know, a soul at peace is a soul that chooses right all the time. All the time. Like you said, that in his public life, if I am Muslim and I am minister, I am chief executive, that I wouldn't take bribe and look the other way for some ONC to sell contaminated fuel to somebody. That I wouldn't take bribes to issue OMC licenses to people who don't deserve to hold those licenses. You are doing right all the time, irrespective of who. So that is what fasting is supposed to. So if you fast for 30 days and then you are in a hurry for the fast to be over, so you go back to what you were doing before the fast, then really and truly, I would say it's better you didn't fast at all, because you should fast with the consciousness that you are hoping to continue to live by those values, even after the month of Ramadan.
The point of peace, I guess that's the destination that we all want to get to.
Yes.
But that's by ourselves is difficult to achieve. But even the points of consciousness is not bad. If you do wrong and you're prompted, within that you've done wrong, that in itself is a good thing. It means that at least you are aware that you've done something wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's why I said to you that the majority of humans on earth are at that stage. We are the majority, perhaps 95% of us are self-accusing souls. You know, because we are unable to avoid some pitfalls. You know, sometimes you are talking about your colleague, quite frankly, sometimes not even because you mean evil. Sometimes, you know, it becomes part of our daily existence, you know, to talk about other people and gossip and, as they say, backbite and etc. etc. So it's not really terrible, as I said. Even the consciousness, that's why I said that you know, the Quran verse that says fasting is prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, so that you may learn. The Arabic word that is used there is so that you may learn taqwa. Now, when you read the translations of the Quran, most of them translate it as so that you may learn piety, or so that you may learn righteousness. Okay, but I prefer to translate it as so that you may learn God consciousness.
Right. Okay. So I want to explore that a little bit. How do we use that, knowing that we are not perfect and it's really difficult to be perfect? How do we use that in our daily activities? At least if we're conscious that what we're doing is wrong, we will retreat. How do we get to that point?
How do we get to that point? How we get to that point is, you know, let me veer off and give an example. There was this Muslim preacher, and this is a true story, in Tamale, who, you know, during the month of Ramadan, one of the things that Muslims also do a lot is Quranic interpretation. You know, you have these pockets of imams in the various mosques, and then they would have followers come and listen every evening throughout the month of Ramadan to their interpretation of the Quran. And there was this imam who every evening during his tafsir sessions, he had a rival sect, youth in a rival sect, who would come and try to harass him and disturb his interpretation sessions. And every time they come, he's like, please, in Dagbani, Zomi as a Munsuro Nyame, like fear God. But they kept coming. So one day, he went and brought the police to come and stand guard at the place. And the youth didn't come. So when he was about to start his session, he says, you see, humans, you fear police, you don't fear God. I get the point. Yes. I'm using that to make a point that they were conscious that there was a police, and therefore they didn't come to harass the man. But if they had been God conscious, they wouldn't have harassed him in the first place. Because God is the ultimate police. He's the preeminent policeman. Are you following me?
I am.
Or as some people want us to believe, policewoman or whatever he is. These days they say that everything is gender inclusive. But pardon me if you are gender sensitive or whatever. This is what we know. So God is the ultimate policeman. And therefore, if you are conscious of God in your life all the time, as I said, there would always be the conscience that will prick you that this thing I'm about to do is not correct. And that even if you did something that turned out wrong, in Islam there's something, we have a saying that says that the Prophet is reported to have said that actions are according to intentions, and every man or woman shall be judged according to what he or she intended. That's fundamental, because sometimes you could do wrong but you intended good, but it could turn out wrong. Okay, and I guess that's what people define as conscience. That to the extent that your conscience is correct, to the extent that you didn't set out to do injustice, even if it turned out unjust, you can still go to sleep.
So, you know, we've been fasting, our Muslim brothers and sisters, we've been fasting as Christians as well. We go to church, we go to the mosque. And yet, we'd see corruption rising. We're not being good to one another. We're not giving. What is wrong with our society? How can we make it better? We continue to go to church. We continue to go to the mosque. Things are not changing.
So, my brother studied some religion at the university.
Yes.
There was one, I'm not sure you met him at the University of Cape Coast, Professor Gaba.
Yes, Gaba. Yeah, I didn't meet him, but he used to come around. Yeah.
Exactly. He says that there's a persistence of religion and a persistence of evil at the same time. Okay. Now, how do you reconcile? Your question is very important. How do we reconcile the persistence of evil versus the persistence of religion? You know, there are societies, it is generally said that Scandinavian societies are the most, I don't want to say irreligious, but they are less religious.
Yeah.
They are less religious. But they are also some of the most disciplined societies on earth. I understand that sometimes when somebody is in a prison in Sweden and is getting to the end of their term in the prison, Saturday, Sunday, they let them go home and they come back to the prison. They don't run. They go and visit their parents in the evening at the exact same time they are supposed to come. They come. I don't know how many people in Isawam we can ask that they should go home and visit their parents and come back voluntarily in the evening. So for me, part of the reason this is that I think that it will mean that our communication, both Muslims and Christians, our communication about God and the purpose of existence is what we have missed. You see, the purpose of existence is missed completely. And that is the reason. Because we measure godliness. You know, there are people we know, I'm sorry, but not to mention any example, but there are people we know the source of their wealth in our society, and then they will come and write on social media, God has blessed them. Do you get the point? Merely having the possession is not the blessing. Are you following me?
Sure.
So I think that we need to communicate what real blessing is. I've been telling people that if you are rich and you are still striving for more, you are poor. For me, riches is contentment. That's what to be rich means. And that is what our preachers need to communicate. That riches is not material wealth. There's a Quranic verse that says that woe unto those who hoard wealth and count it, thinking that it will make them immortal. There's another verse that says you are distracted by worldly gain until you visit the graves. You see, so I think that there has to be a whole new orientation about what is the purpose of God, what is the purpose of our existence on earth. And then it is only when we get that right that religion can begin to serve its purpose. But if we are going to relate to the churches, and then the biggest donor in the mosque is the one who is giving front page or front seat role in the masalachi and so on, then we are basically telling people that just go and get rich irrespective of what it is.
I like the two things that you've just introduced, purpose and contentment.
Yes.
And I want us to explore this a little further, but I want you to stay with us because we have to take a break. We'll be back. Dr. Mustafa Hamid is our guest here on the Super Morning Show.
Are you tired of struggling with bad financial situations? At Quick Credit, we understand the difficulties that come with transitioning to a better one. That's why we're here to simplify the process for you. With loan facilities from 1,500 cedis upwards, all you have to do is call and we will take care of the rest. All you need is your national ID. No savings, no collateral, no susu, no deposits, and no account opening required. Quick Credit has you covered. Whether you're expanding a business, starting a new one, facing an emergency like school fees or funeral expenses, or even just in need of a salary loan. What are you waiting for? Call Quick Credit today. 0302-200-390 or 059-692-0833. We do not give loans via the internet. Quick Credit is regulated and licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Terms and conditions apply. Quick Credit. Lending made simple.
Imagine running a business with 247 dedicated internet as well as calls to both local and international corporate clients at very affordable prices. Whatever your objectives, Airtel Tigo Business can help you through services like FlexiNet mobile broadband among others. Call us at 0577 555 000 or email us at business@airteltigo.com.gh. Airtel Tigo Business, your total business solutions provider.
Charlie, you sure see be die-hard football fan who can't get enough of the beautiful game? Then stay connected to DSTV, cause it's a football festival. Live Ankasa. All the big leagues and tournaments day DSTV. UEFA Champions League, the Premier League, and La Liga all day. So my guy, don't miss a single moment of the action. Make you watch players like Haaland, Rashford, Benzema, Sadio Mane, and Thomas Partey battle it out. Ebeye the dead. Man slacky. Get your decoder for 269 Ghana cedis or dial *759# to connect and join the excitement. DSTV, it's your moment.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Oh, magnify the Lord with us and let us exalt his name together at the Joy Corporate Worship 2023. The Joy Corporate Worship is a mega gathering of corporate Ghana and all business unto the Lord in worship and supplications. With one accord and a heart of gratitude, let us all come together in worship and appreciate our God for his provision and protection even in the midst of scarcity and uncertainties. Venue is the Royal House Chapel, Ahimfie. Date is Friday 28th April 2023. Time is 6 p.m. prompt. Leading us in worship will be MOG, Celestine Donko, and other anointed ministers. Don't miss this corporate opportunity to lay it all at his feet in worship at the Joy Corporate Worship. For further inquiries, please call 0302-216-540. Joy Corporate Worship, a corporate appreciation. See you there.
Don't say you didn't know that I didn't tell you. So let me tell you again now as I go around telling everybody to again. COVID-19 may have gone quiet, but it has not gone away. There are COVID-19 vaccines available for everyone who is 15 years and above.
This includes pregnant women and those breastfeeding too. So you have to get vaccinated now. The vaccines are safe, effective, and reduce the severity of the infection. The vaccines prevent hospitalization and or even death. Get the jab, get the booster. Protect yourself, protect your family, protect your community.
This message is brought to you by Ghana Health Service. Good life, live it well. USAID and partners.
It's the Super Morning Show. This is Joy 99.7 FM. We're learning from the essence of Ramadan. We're asking ourselves a few questions. How can we be self-disciplined? How can we be committed to our country? How can we be given? Listen, join the conversation on 055-111-1997. That's our WhatsApp number. So if you've been sending the message, we'll get to them in a bit. Send your tweet to Joy997 and please add the hashtag JoySMS. Our guest in studio is the CEO of the National Petroleum Authority, except that we're not talking petroleum here on the show. We're not talking fuel prices. Dr. Mustafa Hamid. We're exploring these questions with him right here on the show. And before the break, he talked about purpose, God's purpose for our lives, and also contentment. And we want to stay there for a while. But first, carrying multiple phones around can be such a chore. The unsightly bulge in your pocket, the extra weight in your purse, the stress of switching from one phone to the other to pick calls. Now imagine being able to switch between different numbers on the same phone easily and seamlessly. Listen, you can go seamless with MTN eSIM and enjoy the convenience of connecting multiple phone numbers to one single phone or device. To check if your device is compatible, please dial *#06#. Once you receive an EID number, it means your phone or device is compatible. Simply download My MTN app today to request your MTN eSIM and enjoy the sweet, seamless life everywhere you go.
Oh, magnify the Lord with us and let us exalt his name together at the Joy Corporate Worship 2023. And the Joy Corporate Worship is a mega gathering of corporate Ghana and all business unto the Lord in worship and supplications with one accord and a heart of gratitude. Let all of us come together and worship and appreciate our God for his provision and protection, even in the midst of scarcity and uncertainties. And it's happening this Friday, the 28th of April 2023 at the Royal House Chapel in Ahemfie, time 6 p.m. Leading us in worship will be MOG, Celestine Donko, and others. Don't miss this corporate opportunity to lay it all at his feet in worship at the Joy Corporate Worship. For further inquiries, please call 0302-216-540. The Joy Corporate Worship is supported by Apostle General Sam Kranchankra and the Royal House Chapel Ahemfie. Joy Corporate Worship, a corporate appreciation.
Now, the 60th anniversary Accountant Week celebration being hosted by Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana started Saturday 22nd of April and it will end on Friday 28th of April. This series of events form part of ICAG's Diamond Jubilee celebration theme, promoting sustainability, deepening trust, nurturing partnerships. And here are the activities lined up. Coming up on the 25th, which is tomorrow, and 26th of April 2023, a 2-day 60th anniversary accountants conference at Uzbek Hotel in Sunyani. Abrewa night on the 25th of April at Sunyani Traditional Council. There's Awak night, a night with the lady accountants on the 26th of April at 6 p.m. And then tour of the Bui Dam, Kintampo Waterfalls, Boabing, Fiema Monkey Sanctuary, among other interesting tourist sites in Bono region on the 27th of April. Boogie Night, featuring a guest artist, will happen on the 27th of April. The annual general meeting and dinner dance to climax the week-long celebration will happen on Friday 28th of April. Don't miss out on any of these insightful and exciting activities lined up to commemorate ICAG's 60th anniversary Accountants Week celebration. For inquiries on how to participate and sponsor, please visit icag.org, icagh.org, or call John Hansen on 020-892-0373 or Nanekia on 0243-551-788. You can also follow ICAG on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ICAGH1 and get more updates.
Well, so your Sunday night just got very exciting because it is the real deal. It is official Cues and Lyrics, a music competition show that aims at unearthing music potential in contestants while providing Joy FM's cherished viewers the ultimate entertainment. The maiden edition was last night. I saw it. It was great.
Yes.
It made me miss my singing days. Well, watch the 12 budding musicians as they journey to stardom. Don't miss out on the experience every Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. only on Joy Prime. Cues and Lyrics is produced by Joy Prime and powered by Hits FM. Cues and Lyrics, bring on the music. Joy Prime, the ultimate experience.
And as you have fun, remember COVID-19 is still with us. And so please go and get vaccinated. COVID-19 vaccines are available at all health facilities here in our country. They are safe, effective, and free for everyone above 15 years. So protect yourself by getting fully vaccinated. The COVID-19 vaccines provides protection, reduce the severity of the infection, prevent hospitalization and death. If you have had your first and second dose of the vaccines, then please go for the booster dose. The booster dose is an effective addition to increase your immunity against COVID-19 disease. Things aren't as cool as they look. Protect yourself, protect your family, protect your community.
So before we continue, you know the verse that Sheikh Dr. Mustafa Hamid quoted, there's a similar one in the Bible.
Right.
Is Luke chapter 12 verse 15. It says, and he said to them, take care and be on your guard against all covetousness, for one's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions.
Right.
For one's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions. Doc, that's deep.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, I was making the point that happiness is not also in the possessions. Okay, there are people who are very rich and very unhappy. You know, let me introduce a joke. When I go to places and I'm the chairman of a function, speaker, all these things, that public speaking that I do, and people introduce me and say, and now we introduce you the chairman, he's happily married. I say, hey. Just say that I am married. Whether I'm happy or not, you don't know.
I like that one.
Are you following me? Yeah, I just say that I'm married and leave it there. Whether I'm happy or not, you don't know. And so it's the same thing with wealth. You know, there are people who have money, riches, whatever you call them, horses and chariots and etc., and they are very, very unhappy. That's why there is this Muslim mystic, they call him Jalaluddin Rumi. Rumi says that he went in search of God, and then he went to Mecca, he went to the Kaaba, he didn't find God. He went to Jerusalem, he didn't find God. He went to the place of the crucifixion. He mentions all these so-called holy places around the world. And then finally he says, I came back and looked inside my heart, and there he was. It's a very profound saying. I'll forward it to you.
Sure.
You see, so he says that God is in the heart. God is not in places. Are you following me?
Yeah.
So in the same way, if you translate it, that is what the fasting is supposed to do. It is supposed to seat God, to give God a seat in our hearts. And it is only when you have found a seat for God in your heart that you can then live above all these trappings that we are talking about. Are you following me? If because we present God as external, our Father who art in heaven, rather than our Father who dwells in us. Okay, so we present God as if he's at an epistemic distance,
far off from us,
and therefore that's how people are going to behave. They are going to pretend that, oh, he exists, but he's this far away God, and so on and so forth. But if we internalize God, if we nurture God consciousness, then what happens is that God sits inside us, and it is only when he's inside us that we can get above all these vices that we are talking about in public place, corruption, this, that, stealing, and all that.
I'm thinking, Winston, perhaps that part of the problem could be some of our sheikhs and some of our pastors. Because I remember, when he says God in us, that when Jesus was leaving, he said, I am going, but the Holy Spirit will be with you forever. And the Holy Spirit is in us. But that type of preaching is often lost. I'm just thinking that the society is, all the vices that we talk about, the corruption, people going to public service, and you really don't see their contribution. They just add to the issues. I'm just thinking that maybe fundamentally something is missing, and it's probably from the pulpits.
It's also the society. Part of it is, Winston made a point about the fact that sometimes what we get is a product of our times. There are people who say that if you have corrupt leaders, they haven't fallen from Mars or from Jupiter. They are the same people. It's a reflection of the society.
Society, yeah.
Those, I don't know how old anybody here is, but when we're in secondary school,
ancestor.
But Winston, when we're in secondary school, there are two categories of people who had girlfriends. Brilliant people, intelligent guys in the class, and also sportsmen.
Yeah.
Finish. If you were not brilliant in the class, then you must be brilliant in the field. That's the only way girls will gravitate towards you. But I guess today the circumstances are different.
Oh, they have changed.
Now it's about whose father has money and who comes to school with a car and this and that. So the values of our society themselves have changed.
Yeah.
But like you said, therefore the church, the mosque have to mount a real crusade, for want of a better terminology, to be able to reverse this situation.
And see the point you made, it's actually in the Bible. I think 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 19 to 20. It says, don't you know your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit who lives in you and was given to you by God. You do not belong to yourself, but you belong to God. He bought you for a price, so use your body for God's glory. But of course, I mean, like I stated today, we've reached a time that, a lot of things have changed. We're thinking about possessions, worldly things, and so that's what the pastors will tell you. But I think our time is up.
Can we have you again sometime, not talking necessarily about politics, but discussing some of these issues and reflecting? I have enjoyed it.
Because these are the real things that change our society anyway. These are the real things that change our society anyway. I'm sorry, but I'm a politician. I've been a participant in this politics. You remember we've been blaming our leaders since Nkrumah.
Of course.
Listen, I've been asking people. People say, oh, Nkrumah was a good man, but it was the people around him. Then Buzia came, they said Buzia was a good man, it's the people around him. Then Liman came, they said Liman was a good man, there was people around him. They said John Mahama was a good man, it was people around him. They said Mills was a good man, it's the people around him. They said President Akufo-Addo is a good man, it's the people around him. And they named the people and say it is these people who are the cause of our problems. And I'm asking, is that true? We'll talk about it.
Is that true?
I don't know. So we will have to have a conversation about what Winston said. That isn't it the case that our society gives birth to the leadership that the society itself deserves? Do you know the people who go? Senor said it. Senor also said it in one of his lectures at UPSA. I think it was Democracy Day lecture or something. He says, look, we are all pretending to be talking about corruption. Sometimes the people who call you chiefs, kings, etc., pastors, and so on, and they ask you, hey, you, Mustafa, are you still in this your honesty business? You sit there and this, that, when the power is finished, you will see. If you, hey, yo, do you have this yet? Do you have this yet? And these are people who are important in society. These are not just ordinary people, not to even talk of the ordinary foot soldiers who will say that, oh, you sit there and be doing honesty and integrity. You will see where this will land you. It's not going to take you anywhere, and so on and so forth. So we really have to have a proper national conversation. These accusations about NDC, MPP, I'm not sure it's going to help this society. We need a proper conversation of how to situate this country properly, so that whether there's an MPP in power or there's an NDC in power, we are guaranteed honest leadership of honesty and integrity.
Dr. Mustafa Hamid, thank you very much for joining us, and promising that you'll be back again so we'll have another conversation devoid of politics.
Inshallah.
Thank you very much for joining us. Folks,
Baraka da Sallah.
Baraka Akidi.
Folks,